Hello again, and Happy New Year. It's fourth year now of doing this year gardening, and whilst we've got a little bit of dormancy in these shrubs here, I thought we'd just give it a nice tidy back height wise, getting a little bit too tall. So I've got a fair bit to do here today, but yeah, plenty of work to do in the garden as ever in January. I'm going to spend a fair bit of time out in the front garden today. So I'm just going to finish off this. I'm going to take you through to the front. Well, here we are in the front garden. As you can see, at the moment it is quite a mess. But this part of the garden for the last month has been underwater because there's a slope down towards the house and all the rain just sat here and it's been underwater for a long while. So I can't do anything with the ground here. The weeds are massive. Well, they will all come out. It'll take a couple of weeks. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to lift a lot of the small flowering plants, the primroses, maybe the heathers, get them all out, clear it all through and have this all seeded for the summer this year. Over the far side here we've got a lot of the oxeye daisies. They need lifting and coming out, and we've got some wild seeded brambles in here which have also got to come out. So there's a lot of work to do in here, but I'm sure over the next 4 to 6 weeks I can get this bit sorted out. I'll show you another bit of the garden here now. So this bit here is where we had the flower borders, we planted the daffodils. Some of them are coming through, but I also then put down this grass seed. And as you can see, the grass that I seeded has grown massively compared to the others because it is growing in compost as opposed to the clay soil. So I need to just get some shears and trim this down, but over the next few days we're due a lot of frost, so it's not something that I should be doing at this moment in time. The borders behind here, a lot of that is annuals, and that will all clear out and we can have a nice little tidy up there. But as I say, I think it's going to take me, with half an hour a day, 4 to 5 weeks to get this ready for planting up for this year. Well, one other thing that we have in the front garden is the bird table, and coming up at the end of this month we have the big garden bird watch. As you know from previous years, I love my garden birds and I always join in with the RSPB on watching the birds for just 1 hour over that weekend. So in the lead up, you need to make sure that the birds know where the food is, so that they're going to come to be counted. But I do tend to keep my feeders nice and clean and nice and full all year round. And this songbird mix that I use has some suet pellets and corn and seed, a nice mixture for the birds. And then we have our fat balls on here as well. And then on the shelf at the top I just use some mealworms, and so we've got a nice choice of diet for the little birds to come along and enjoy themselves. Just put a little scattering of those on there. So here's a little bit more information about the big garden bird watch.
Garden bird watch. I'll be looking out for the early birds.
I'll be in the warm.
Watching nature, wherever I find it.
I do mine with blue rolls.
In watercolour.
With bird cakes. For the birds.
For the love of nature.
For the next generation.
So why not take part in this year's big garden bird watch to build a picture of how birds are faring across the UK.
Take action for birds and help us understand how things are changing.
I fly blue tick.
Take part with 500,000 nature lovers between the 26th and 28th of January.
For your free guide, call 0800 473 0256.
Text BIRD to 81400 or search Birdwatch 24.
Together, let's make it count.
Well, it's been really cold and too cold for me to go outside and muck about in the mud and enjoy myself. So I'll just share with you a couple of bits and pieces that I'm going to set up the new year with, and then we'll look at going forward for the rest of the year. Now, preparing for spring and summer and how we're going to enjoy the garden is quite important at this time of year. So getting the plans in place are good. Now, you may recall I mentioned at the end of last year that I was going to put a covered area at the top of the garden where we can sit, because I can't do much walking up and down the garden these days. This is the area that I'm going to put a little covered roof on. We have our barbecue here and we have a chimney here, so it's a nice little area. And so I'm going to be mounting a timber support along the back wall here, mounting another along the roof here, and just putting some clear acrylic Coralux sheeting across the top, which will give us a nice little covered area, nice and light, very close to the house, where we can sit and enjoy our evenings outside with a little bit of protection from those moist evenings that we sometimes get. So we'll probably be starting that towards the end of this month. Going to wait for the frosts to ease back a little bit, and then we'll do that probably in the next show. Hi, and well, we're down the greenhouse now, and you may remember when I planted the cauliflowers a few weeks ago. Now the slugs have been at them, so I'm just going to spin round here a little bit and then switch the camera angle over, and I'll show you what's the slugs have been at them. But I have got some nice looking plants still in there, some growing stronger than others, but I do need to get maybe some salt and cover the edges to all these ones here have really been hit, but yeah, we can sort this out. Happy days. We'll keep those cauliflowers growing, and I'll replace a couple of the ones that have been taken away, and I'll just put a little bit of salt on the surface of the ground, so hopefully that will just discourage the slugs from coming and eating too much of them. But I'm hopeful that by the time we get to, I don't know, mid-February, we'll have some really nice cauliflowers. Now, I've still got my onions and some other things growing in here. I've got some salads growing as well, which is really, really nice. But I think it's time just to sum up, because I've got a few things I really, really need to explain to you. Well, this is a shorter show than I really want to bring you, but the weather has not been great. Now today the sun is gorgeous, but it is still 0 degrees outside. Working on the ground is not the best thing to do. So I'm going to wait until the temperature just picks up a little bit. Some of the moisture disappears out of the ground because we've had a lot of rain, and according to the weather forecast this weekend we're going to get a lot more rain. But that's nothing to worry about. We'll just go out another day and we'll get the work done. I have got a couple of bits and pieces ready for the front garden, and I've been buying, you may remember these from last year, these little boxes, pollinator garden. So these are the ones that I got the blankets basically of seeds. They are sheets of paper fully loaded with seeds, and they are completely full of seeds. Every inch or so, all the way through that, we have got seeds. And so I've got these. I've got 3 boxes of these for the front garden, and I'm going to completely clear out all of the weeded areas, all of the stuff that I don't want there, and we're going to plant the front garden up for pollinators, for our hoverflies, for our bees, for the wasps. They're going to come through, they're going to thoroughly love the garden. And when we plant the garden like this, that also encourages more birds. And as you know, I love my birds. So that is something that I'm really going to look forward to doing and sharing with you over the next month or so. Now, I've got lots of things planned, but I've got to pace myself with my health issues and everything else. I can't go hell for leather anymore. Wish I could, but I can't. But the wildlife in my garden is spectacularly successful, and I have now got crested newts in the pond. I have got frogs, toads, I've got slow worms, beautiful slow worms, and they're nesting in the garden underneath a bit of plastic and things that I put down, and they are really, really amazingly beautiful. So I have this love of nature, and therefore I've let some of this garden grow really, really long and very, very large. And the wildlife that we are now getting in the garden is better than anything I've ever seen. And that makes me so happy. So, with the birds, with the amphibians, with all of the other wildlife we get through, we get foxes, we've had hedgehogs. So, it's just growing. A garden is not just something for us to sit and enjoy, it is also to help our natural wildlife, and I hope you share that joy with me. And over the months to come, I'll be sharing some of those little secret spots with you so that you can actually share in some of that wonderful joy. Now, I was going to do a lot more filming, but I've got to reduce it down, and I've got to put this show out now because I'm having all of the garden Wi-Fi and Bluetooth upgraded. So the garden is going to have a loop put in, which will give me a gigabyte of Wi-Fi through the whole of the garden, and also a Bluetooth connectivity for the cameras. So we're going to be able to bring a more joined up together show. I wish it was cheap, but unfortunately it's not. But we can improve the quality of the product I can bring you, because I can use things like remote cameras, and you'll see this as we go forward from now on. So that's it for today. It is now January. It is the start of the year. I have got loads of seeds and things ready to plant now, because come the end of January is when I start planting all of my summer bedding seeds into pots, getting ready for the year. I've got my little heater down here. Oh, and that is so nice to have a little bit of heat in the greenhouse. Makes me feel nice and warm anyway when I'm down here. So look, I love you guys, and I really do appreciate the joy that you give me with your feedback. So yeah, keep it coming. It's great to join in with the whole of this gardening community. A little bit of a special mention to one little channel. So hi to My Rusty Garden, because I'm loving your channel as well. I think this is fantastic, and if we can all join in and share, makes the world such a better place. Well, that's it. January 2024, 4 years into a year gardening, and I'm really, really happy and joyful that you've been on this journey with me so far. So I've nothing more to say apart from stay well, stay safe, be kind to each other, and with a small glass, there we are, of Shiraz. Happy gardening.